I want you to close your eyes for a second. Picture this. You're holding a child. It could be your own, a niece, a nephew, a grandchild. They're right there in your arms. And you can smell that.
Mm.
That specific baby scent, you know the one, right? That mix of milk and soap and just warmth. You feel the weight of them. And then suddenly, without you even planning it, a phrase just pops into your head. It might even slip out of your mouth. You look at this tiny, perfect human and you say, I could eat you.
It's such a universal paradox, isn't it? The second you say it out loud, you kind of hear the words hanging in the air and realize how absolutely deranged that sounds.
Completely deranged. I mean, if you really break it down, you're looking at someone you love more than anything in the world, and you're basically threatening them with cannibalism.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You're not just saying it. Think about what your body is doing in that exact moment.
Yeah.
You aren't just holding them gently. You're squeezing.
Right. You're squeezing them just a little bit tighter than is probably necessary. You're pressing a kiss really hard into their cheek. Maybe you're pulling them back in right as they start to wiggle away. It's this overwhelming, almost involuntary physical urge.
And that is exactly the tension we're going to unpack today. Why do we use the language of destruction, eating, biting, gobbling to express what is, arguably the deepest form of care we're capable of?
It's such a great question. Because if I walked up to a stranger on the street and said, I want to devour you.
Oh, yeah. That's not going to go well.
I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
Immediately. But if I say it to a toddler while tickling them, it's seen as this pure expression of love.
It's a fascinating contradiction. And to explore it, we're doing a deep dive into this really beautiful and honestly quite profound essay by the writer Pedro Malha. It's titled simply, I Could Eat You.
And I should say, this isn't just a list of cute things parents say. Malha takes this very seriously. He treats this phenomenon as a real philosophical investigation. He's looking at how our bodies express love when language basically fails us.
Exactly. It's all about that instinct to close the distance. The core idea we're going to look at is that these extreme words, these predatory phrases, they actually signal a desire for a kind of total closeness that, normal language just can't quite capture.
So let's get into the weeds here. We have to start with vocabulary itself. The essay calls it the vocabulary of consumption. And when you lay it all out like Malha does, it sounds like a menu at a very questionable restaurant.
It really does. The text lists these specific phrases we've all heard, or let's be honest, probably said ourselves, I'm going to gobble you up.
Yep. Or, I want to bite those cheeks.
You're so delicious.
Oh, you're so delicious. I have definitely said that.
Yeah.
Or even just eat. Like, oh, look at those toes. I could just eat them. It's so visceral.
And Malha points out what he calls the contextual dissonance here. These words, eat, bite, devour, in any other context, they belong to the realm of taking, consuming, removing something from the world.
Right. They are violent words. There's no getting around it. Devour is a word for what? For wolves? For fires?
Exactly. They describe destruction. If you eat an apple, the apple is gone. It becomes part of you, sure, but it stops being an apple. Using these words toward another person should sound threatening. It should trigger a fight or flight response.
But, and this is where it gets so interesting, the delivery changes everything. Malha notes that we don't say these things with a growl. I mean, maybe a playful one, but not with real aggression.
No, not at all. Often it's half under your breath. Or it comes with laughter to soften the whole thing.
The essay mentions a parent laughing while saying, I could just eat you, as they tighten their arms around a child. It's spoken without hesitation. There's no weight to the violence of the words. It's almost like the words are just floating on top of the emotion.
That's the key. The words sound extreme, but the intention is the complete opposite of harm. We soften it, we exaggerate it a bit to show its play, and then we move on. But the words are still there. And more importantly, this is a huge part of the essay, the movement is still there.
Let's talk about that movement, because the essay argues, and this really hit home for me, that the body knows what it's doing before the mind even catches up. This isn't some calculated decision.
No, and that's a crucial distinction in the text.
Yeah.
This is not a mental choice. You don't look at a baby, analyze your feelings, consult a little flowchart, and decide, okay, I shall now squeeze this child and threaten to eat it.
Proceed to step 4, gobbling. No, it happens. The text has this great description of the physical instinct. It says you feel it in the way your hands tighten without meaning to. Your fingers press into their back before you've even told them to.
It is purely instinctual. The body reaches, it squeezes. Malha describes it as movement happening before intention. There's almost a reflex, like pulling your hand from a hot stove, but in reverse, you're pulling the heat towards you.
There's this one image in the essay I found so vivid. It talks about inhaling the scent of a child as if that could hold them there.
Mm.
Like, if I breathe you in deep enough, maybe you'll stay in my lungs and never leave.
That's such a powerful idea. It's about internalizing them through every single sense you have. Smell, touch.
Sound. And there's another detail in the text that I think everyone will recognize. The essay describes a parent pressing their mouth into a child's arm and making a soft biting sound.
Yes, that one stood out to me too.
It's such a specific thing. It's not a kiss. A kiss is soft. This is firmer.
It sits somewhere between a kiss and a bite, doesn't it? It's the sound that exists on that border between affection and consumption. You're not breaking the skin, obviously, but you're simulating the action.
Mhm.
It's the mouth acting out the vocabulary we just talked about.
And the text mentions pulling the child back in just as they start to move away, or leaning toward them before you've even decided to move. It's like your body is a magnet and the child is steel. You can't help but close that gap.
And that brings us right to the why. If this isn't aggression, and we're very clear it's not, what is driving this specific set of behaviors? Why does love look so much like hunger? Malha offers a theory here that I find really profound.
Okay, lay it on us. What's the philosophy behind the bite?
He argues it is about the impossibility of being close enough.
The impossibility of being close enough, that feels almost a little tragic.
It is a little bit,
Yeah.
but think about it. Eating is the ultimate metaphor for removing distance completely. If you consume something, there is zero space left between you and it. It is literally inside of you. It becomes you.
That makes so much sense. The text describes pulling a child closer, even when there is no space left to close. You know that feeling. You're already hugging them chest to chest, but you're adjusting your grip, pressing your cheek against their head. You're trying to get closer than close.
Exactly. You are trying to merge. And Mala suggests that our standard words for love, I love you, you're sweet, they just aren't strong enough. They can't capture that physical desperation to merge. They're too polite, too separate.
Right.
Yeah.
I love you puts you over there and me over here. It connects us, but it acknowledges we are two different people.
Precisely. But the body, in that moment, doesn't want to acknowledge that separation. So when your body is overwhelmed by this need to be one with a child, language just panics. It grabs the strongest tool it can find.
So language is playing catch up to the body's instinct. The body is screaming, merge, and the brain is scrambling for a word that means merge, and it lands on devour.
That's it exactly. The body is already doing the work, squeezing, pressing, inhaling. The words are just a clumsy attempt to describe that feeling. Language fails, so we borrow from the vocabulary of consumption because it's the only thing absolute enough to work.
The essay also talks about the repetitive motion of it. You hold them, you release them, and then you reach again as if the contact has not finished.
Because the contact can't be finished. That's the whole paradox. You can never actually merge with another person. You're always two separate beings. So you're caught in this loop of reaching, holding, realizing there's still a barrier, even if it's just skin, and then reaching again.
It's like an itch you can't quite scratch. You can get infinitely close, but never close enough to actually satisfy the instinct.
Exactly. And that frustration, that beautiful, loving frustration, is what drives the soft biting and the tight squeezing.
Now, eating isn't the only way this shows up. The essay points out other phrases that are just as weird, if not weirder, when you stop to think about them. It's not just about consumption, it's also about containment.
Right. It's about keeping the beloved things safe, but also keeping them contained, keeping them right here.
Mahal lists phrases like, I wish I could keep you like this, or I want to wrap you up, which sound nice enough, but then you get the really odd ones. I could put you in my pocket.
Or the one that really got me, I want to wear you.
I want to wear you. I mean, that sounds like something a villain says in a horror movie before, you know. I want to wear you, but I've heard people say it to their babies. I just want to wear you like a little backpack all day.
It does sound creepy out of context, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it all goes back to that theme of total containment, keeping them attached to you. Malha connects these phrases to the physical acts of wrapping a child tightly in a blanket swaddling or enclosing them in a hug that goes all the way around.
It says, the body closes around them, the moment holds. It's like you're trying to freeze time. If I can put you in my pocket, you can't grow up and leave, you can't get hurt, you're just there with me.
That's the unspoken tragedy beneath all the joy. The child is a separate being who will eventually walk away. They'll grow up. They will leave. These phrases, eating, pocketing, wearing, they're all these little fantasies of keeping the child physically attached to you forever.
It's actually really touching when you frame it that way. It's a desperate attempt to stop the inevitable separation. We're trying to fight time with a hug.
And we're trying to fight biology. Biology says children grow and leave. Love says, no, stay here in my pocket where I can see you.
And what's so fascinating to me is that we don't learn this. Nobody sits you down in a class. You don't get to chapter 4 of Parenting 101, and it's called Cannibalism, Threats, and Pocket Stuffing.
Right. Okay, class, today we learn how to tell your baby they're delicious. No, it arises spontaneously.
Yet, as Malha points out, it's said by mothers over cots, by fathers lifting their kids, by grandparents who said it decades earlier. It appears across culture, across languages. This is not just an English thing.
No, it's deeply human. The essay has this beautiful line about the instinct. It says, it sits in the body as if it was already written there. It sits in the bones.
Written in the bones. That suggests something ancient, something we carry.
It suggests this isn't learned behavior. It's inherited behavior. It's part of our evolutionary emotional programming.
He mentions a grandmother pinching cheeks, and it points out that those same cheeks have been pinched before, by her, by others, across time. It's like a relay race of cheek pinching and soft biting that goes back for generations.
It creates this unspoken lineage, a universal experience. Malha notes that these phrases appear in different accents, different homes, different lives.
Yeah.
But the impulse is identical.
And we all recognize it immediately. If I'm in a park and I see a stranger squeezing their kid and saying, "You're so yummy," I don't call the police. I think, oh, we don't question it.
We don't question it because we know the feeling. The essay says we hear someone else say it, and we know it immediately. It resonates with something already inside of us. It's a shared language of the body.
It's almost like a secret code that we all unlock the moment we hold a baby.
Exactly. It just activates a dormant script that was there all along.
So we have this ancient written in the bones instinct, but the essay wraps up by looking at how this all plays out. Because obviously you don't actually eat the baby. You don't put them in your pocket.
Hopefully not. That would defeat the whole purpose of protecting them.
So what happens? Malha calls love a cycle of return.
Yes. And this is really the synthesis of the whole argument. Love isn't a static feeling where you achieve closeness and then you're done. You don't just hug the child once and go, okay, connection established, mission accomplished. It's a movement that returns again and again.
Because you can't actually merge. The barrier is always there.
Exactly. You squeeze, you hold, you say the words, and then you have to let go. You have to loosen your grip. But then, inevitably, the body moves closer again.
The text says, the movement does not recognize an end. Your hands continue to reach out, to smooth hair, to touch a face. Even when the contact is made, your body is still trying to get closer. It's a job that's never finished.
And the child plays a role in this dance, too. We haven't talked much about that side of it. Malha describes the child laughing, pushing away, but then leaning back in.
Or offering their hand again. The text says the child pulls away, then offers their fingers again. Hand opening, inviting the same contact.
It's a shared dance of closeness, a cycle of coming together, separating slightly, and returning. The child learns that this seemingly predatory behavior is actually safety. They learn that being eaten in this metaphorical way is the safest place in the world.
It reinforces the bond. The parent reaches, the child accepts, the parent releases, the child invites them back.
And that repetition is key. Maul suggests that this cycle is love. Love is the act of constantly trying to close a distance that can never be fully closed.
So, to bring this all together, we started with these really predatory words, gobble, devour, bite. And what we found is they aren't about violence at all.
No, not even a little. They're about the limits of human connection. We start with words that sound like they belong to a hunter, but we uncover this deep, instinctual desire for a closeness that just goes beyond language.
It's about that feeling when your hands tighten and you can't help it. Malha ends the essay with this really powerful assertion. He lists the tightening hands, the eating words, the inability to stop reaching, and he says simply, this is love. This is how we love.
It's a redefinition of love. Not as a polite emotion or a card you buy at the store, but as a fierce, physical, almost overwhelming force.
It's messy, it's intense, it's repetitive.
And it is deeply, profoundly human. It connects us to our biology and to everyone who ever came before us.
It really makes you think about how we connect with people, and I want to leave you with this thought to mull over. We've been talking about this instinct to consume the people we love just to get closer. So if our most profound, ancient form of love is expressed through this desire to eat or absorb the other person, What does that say about the limits of just being an individual? Are we always, on some level, just physically trying to solve the problem of being separate from the people we love? Are we just trying to get back to a state where there is no you and me, but only us?
That is a very big question.
Yeah.
It suggests that individuality might be the burden that love is always trying to lift.
It's something to think about. Next time you hold someone you love and you feel that urge to squeeze just a little too hard or tell them they look delicious, maybe you'll know why. You aren't crazy, you're just loving them the only way your bones know how.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive.